Good morning and welcome along to the second of our weekend edition from Wigan Athletic. You're going to have to bear with me today because I'm losing my voice very quickly. But we've got a few more league games in store as we start the 2 games a week. The Saturday-Tuesday is in full flow and we start against relegated Charlton Athletic. Both came down together last season and we've got an incredible opportunity to make something special happen. Now I don't know, and in fact it's given away on the home screen. As I mentioned in the chat just before we've started, we've got a surprise sign-in to start. It's going to slightly change the way we play this season, but on the loan deadline day, there was some big news and someone came out of nowhere. So we got an opportunity to get someone in. It's completed what I think is our weakest position and gives us a real opportunity to shine in League One. Don't forget, if you weren't here yesterday, we've somehow in the media gone from favourites to finish bottom to now second favourites to win the league. We then got beat heavily by the side who were expected to finish third. And we've had an international break now. So we are back and we are in full flow. Thank you for everyone who was waiting this morning. Thank you for the quick comments from Damien before we started. And thank you for joining me on this Sunday morning for a bit of Wigan Athletic action. I hope you're all well. I hope you're enjoying your weekend. And I hope we'll have some wins to celebrate today. We start against Charlton and Peterborough, which is a very tough 3 days. But then Plymouth, MK Dons, Northampton. For the initial objective of staying up to the board, that's essential. We have to win those. And then the rest, maybe we can push on. Jake, good morning. Welcome along. Thank you for popping in. Thank you to those who are waiting this morning as well. I do hope you're looking forward to it. I hope you've got a peaceful Sunday morning. But let's crack on with the first one against Charlton away. Lee Bowyer's still in charge there. And if you haven't seen him on the front screen, you're about to see our signing fully. Here he is, right down at the bottom, probably just behind my head. It's Billy Gilmore from Chelsea. Now, obviously made headlines last season in real life, got a couple of appearances late on in the season. And he's a very good player. And out of nowhere, he was offered from the director of football on the loan deadline, which was obviously 11 days after transfer deadline day when we wrapped up the Ryan Shotton deal. So he's now completed our squad for this first half of the year. He's 4-star ability, 5-star potential, a 19-year-old under-21 Scottish international. He's got excellent technical attributes. He's got really good mental ones. Physically not quite so good, but he will get there. He's got a great personality. He's a good playmaker. And he's going to sort of change the style of play in the middle of the pitch because we're going to have to go for a slightly more laid-back one now. We're going to go for a better pressing off the ball, but on it, we want to play a bit more football. The only issue is he's out for the first couple of weeks. So no immediate change to the lineup, but it will happen later on. Don't forget we've got Josh Vickers and Ryan Shotton as well, which means I have been very busy in the off-camera bit, I have made a very big tactical change, and that is purely because of Ryan Shotton. Danny Jeffrey, good morning, welcome along. I am perfectly fine, how are you? And L Gaming, good morning. Nice to have regulars, new folks and the lot in. It's great to see you all here. Thank you for the thumbs up already. Please do chuck one on if you haven't, it does make such a difference. And strap yourselves in for 5 quick-fire fixtures. But the main thing we've got here, normal lineup, normal tactic. We've gone positive. We're trying to keep the ball a little bit better. But the biggest thing we have set up is we have got the long throw merchant. Ryan Shotton was the man who took over from Rory Delap, don't forget. And as a result, we've now got a long throw in. Shay Tilt is in the box, ready to get there. The right backs are good in the air. We've got Joe Garner in the box. We've got all the midfielders in. And I'm just hoping, with Lee Evans on the edge with a brilliant strike as well. 15 for long shots, good finishing, good technique. I think we're going to get a few goals from it. A couple of people have already warned me that they've done well with long throws. Zorro, good morning. Thank you for coming in. Good to have you here. We're up at double figures already. L Gaming, what did you miss yesterday? Let me show you the fixtures quickly before we get into this one. We signed Ryan Shotton, who's got the long throw, of course. He came from league in non-league, and he's got that 18 rating for long throws. We got Josh Vickers, a goalkeeper, on deadline day. So they're the 2 signings you missed out on yesterday. And we also had a few games. So we beat Gillingham 2-0, got battered at Portsmouth, drew 1-1 at home to Doncaster, frustration, and then lost 1-0 to Liverpool's 23s in the trophy. That Liverpool team, I'm just going to show, because I know a few of you weren't here yesterday. I want to show you the Liverpool 11. Trent Alexander-Arnold, Joe Gomez, Nathan Phillips, Jake Kane, a former hero from Cliftonville, and Diogo Jota up front. Nico Williams came off the bench and scored the winning goal, another Cliftonville hero who's had a huge upgrade. And both Trent and Gomez were in the England squad 2 days later. So I don't really understand how that happened, but it's one of those little things. What's your plans for when the full game launches? I know you have the 2 long-term stories. Will it be those or something else? So the 2 long-term stories will be the video content, which continues. And then we'll be switching to our weekly live stream series, which is the one that you can vote for on the community page. So when we play, there's 4 options on there. Whichever one wins, that will be the live stream save from the 24th of November. So my day off work is Tuesday. So I'll still stream on the Tuesday mornings or even the Tuesday evenings, one of the 2. And then I'll do one of the weekend days. So we'll have 2 streams a week. And then the long-term videos continue every day at 3:30 as they are from yesterday. I played against United 23s in that and they did the same. Yeah, you did mention that before. It's something a bit bizarre. I'm guessing that's one of the slight tweaks they maybe need to make in game. But if that's all we've got to worry about, it's not so bad. And none of the League 1 or 2 clubs, bar the small financial elements, don't really care about that trophy now because it's been ruined by the 23s. But let's go and get into Charlton v Wigan. No Billy Gilmore yet. Vickers and Shotton will make their debuts. Offerbore's back from injury and will start. But aside from that, we're as good as we can be. I've dropped Sanchez for Tunnicliffe because I want a bit more bite and a bit more athleticism in midfield. And we'll go for our strongest 11. So in we go. Let's see if we can start the morning in style. Of course, the one big away game we've had, I suppose we went to Ipswich and won. But with the other one, when we went to Portsmouth, we got battered heavily. Thank you for all the extra views and thumbs up. It's great to have you all here. You're making such a difference to the channel this last week or so. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate it. There's some big names in this Charlton side. Alex Gilby's a brilliant player. Marcus Maddison's gone there. He's a good player as well. Paul Smith, Chuck Sanike. They're a good side. I've got a feeling they'll do all right against us. So let's pump the fist. Let's get them to go out and prove a point. Most of them motivated. And I cannot wait to see the long throw in action. I have a question with Bangor and head coach. How far ahead are you with the videos? And so I've just started getting ahead now. I've recorded up till Wednesday. So I've got tomorrow's Bangor's already uploaded. Tuesday's head coach I'm editing at the moment. Halfway through as we came live for this. Wednesday's Bangor is recorded. Thursday's head coach is ready to record and will be recorded after this live stream. And then I'm just playing through to get to Friday and Saturday, which I'll likely record tomorrow. So the aim is, the first week it was fine. I just wanted to get them out on the day. But from next week, or after next week, I'll be back to work in the day job. So I won't have time to keep up then. So I want to ideally be at least a week ahead before I go back to work. So that's generally how I try to work. Then over Christmas, I get drawn back to nothing. Book a day off and then try and get back to nearly a week ahead and etc. So that's normally the process for the channel. And the live stream series helps with that. It's something I wasn't doing before, obviously. But it's content where I don't have to do off-camera work so much, which is great. As Maddison's put them 1-0 up, Charlton ahead within 20, and we've not really looked much of a match for them. And I don't know if that was the wrong game to go positive, perhaps. Particularly with Billy Gilmore not yet being in the side and not having those playmaking qualities. So I am going to drop back to balanced. We're going to demand a bit more from them, but I don't know that this is a game we're expected to win. Because I don't think we are the second best. As Shotton throws in, Hines flicks on, Lang's there, it's saved to Evans, and the long throw gets its first goal. And it only took half an hour in the first game. To be honest, it wasn't the best long throw, it didn't go particularly far. But Ryan Shotton has saved the day. What a fantastic moment. And then it's followed up by an injury, so we can't be too pleased. So Toot is the man who has picked up the knock. And I'm tempted to almost put Shotton out to right back, but then he would be up for the throw, so we lose one of the attacking threats. So we'll see if there's an alternative. I could just bring Craney on like for like. Quite a good process. I hope so. It's the best I can do. Obviously, I've mentioned before on the channel a few times. Long term, I would love to make this part of my job. I love what I do, the NHS work. I'd love to do it part-time. I think this year's shown that full-time for 50 years is not realistic. So if I could do that part-time and then do this the other part, that would be the dream for me. But of course, we're a long way off that. In my Wrexham save, I have a really good youngster. He's now my starting centre-back at 17. Well, you see that. I know it's not through the youth intake, but at Brecon, we've got loads of 16 and 17-year-olds in the head coach. And Pat Nevin's just found the best of the youngsters. It's normally a way to avoid the wage problems. And at Bangor City, the episode that will be coming out tomorrow... Yes, tomorrow, episode 5. we'll obviously have our youth intake preview, so we'll be hoping for something special then. And that game, we've got TNS as well, so that's the big test to start. We've managed to get back on terms for half-time. Charlton have been the better side, probably. So we're going to tell the boys to keep it up, because it's a good effort to get a point here. And hopefully we can hang on for it. Considering we've got a lot of new players to bed in, it's not been the worst start. Damien, regards from Feyenoord fan. You're not the first Feyenoord fan on the channel, ironically. You'll be surprised to hear that for a channel my size. But it's great to have more than one. Feyenoord, a massive institution, provided one of our favourite episodes from the Cliftonville series in FM20, which I absolutely loved. So I'm a big keeping an eye out on Feyenoord as a result of that. And who knows, we might end up in Holland in the head coach. It's not happened before, but we've been to a lot of other nations. I'm sure it'd be fine. The way the channel is growing, you never know. Yeah, I'd love to make it part of my job long term. I realise it's going to be at least another year, realistically. But once we can go back to football grounds, obviously Review the 92 will be back. I've got a new series I'd like to test, but it requires me going to football matches to do it. And it half links to the podcast as well, which will make it quite nice. Can feature guest appearances. Quite easy, quite a more, like where the videos are a highly edited bits of work. I wanted to do something a bit more raw and laid back, and I feel like that's an idea. So I might tease that in the next few months. Let me just make some subs, because we've got 20 minutes to go, and then we'll catch up with the chat again. If we go to our tactics, we are going to bring on Solomon Otterbor for Joe Garner. He's going to go to the left wing, or in fact, no, he's going to go to the right, Lang to the left. Well, Hines can stay on the left, can he? Which way round should we do it? No, I think we're going to keep Hines on the left because he's been okay. And Lang will go up front as an advance forward. And then we're going to whip them crosses in if we're not already. Let's have a look. Whipped crosses, hit them early. I think that's about the best we can do on the road. Tunnicliffe's on his regular yellow card. So we'll bring on Matty Palmer. I'm going to leave Sanchez out today. And then Craney's already come on. So that's the 3 subs made. And let's go and get back into it. I just said I was talking about it on the Discord this morning, which, by the way, great to see a few more of you here. But with the breaking save over in the head coach, I didn't realise until the last game of the season, which I was recording last night, that I've had 5 subs all season. And I've been limiting myself to 3. It's absolutely mad. But thank you for your support. I know it's a long way off still, but I'm getting a lot closer to having an opportunity to make this part of my job. And long term, I'd absolutely love that. I improved my youth level with which costs $1 million, but yeah, you've got the projection of going down, like what happened in FM20 with the new stadium, but I don't know how much it would cost. I mean, the youth level changes are the best things you can do. The youth recruitment, junior coaching, youth facilities and youth level. We have drawn 1-1 here. It's a pretty good result, to be honest. But I always say invest in the youth. Invest in getting more coaches in rather than better players, because your coaches can improve any player. If you get one good player in, it only improves that one position. Now, it looks like Julian Satut is going to be out a while. Thankfully, we have got some options. He's going to be out 3 to 4 weeks. But of course, we have got the option of putting Shotton right back. We can play Martin Craney there. We've got Darnell Johnson. It's actually one of the positions we're best covered, so I'm not too worried about it. You are the only Wrexham fan here. We should find out tomorrow if Wrexham have new owners. Yeah, I've seen a little bit of rumours about it. Craig's in. Good morning, Craig. Thanks for popping in. So yeah, I think there's a little bit of news to come on Wrexham. I don't know it'll be as early as tomorrow, but it certainly seems to be moving now. I'm from Poland, live in Northern Ireland, and support Dutch Feyenoord from 2003. Wow. That is a lot of things to take in. So did you have a team growing up that you supported in Poland, Damien? That's the first question. Because the Polish League, another one I've never been at on camera, but in the head coach before I started doing YouTube, I'd managed there a couple of times, and I really like it. And they show Polish League football in the UK on Free Sports, so I do watch the odd game. You live in Northern Ireland, so obviously the podcast I do with Charlie, we do quite a lot of Northern Irish football content, because his in-laws are there. And obviously the Cliftonville save was probably, until FM21, the biggest and most popular we'd had on the channel, in terms of consistency. And then you ended up supporting Feyenoord. So how did that come about? That's the question. What did I miss? You were teasing. So I just said that we will hopefully be looking at a new series once we can return to football grounds. Obviously, it means Review the 92 will be back. as we go to new stadiums. But I wanted to do a little feature that sort of half links with the podcast. And it would just be an opportunity for me to try something new, a bit more laid back without all the editing, but something so you can know me a bit more, really. But we'll see if that comes off. And I will talk about it a bit more once we're allowed to go back to football, of course. I'm not going to make players available for the reserves just because we've got so many that are going to have to be playing in the 2 games a week over the next few. The stadium is what I did last year. See, I always leave the stadium till last because most of us can't fill it anyway. I think I'll survive in League 2, and that's the thing. You've got to take the time to build sometimes. Was it Dorking and Torquay? Both times we got stuck in a league for 2, 3, 4 years. Dorking, we were in League 1 for 4 years. I think Torquay, we were in a championship for 4, maybe even 5. So, I mean, these things happen. You can't expect to go up every year. I know Luton do it, but you can't expect it to happen all the time. Thank you for all the people coming in as well. We're consistently in double figures now. Harry, good morning. Welcome along. Thank you for joining in. Do appreciate you all popping in. It does make such a difference. Last day of voting today. Yeah, because obviously the Wrexham at the moment are owned by the fans. So to let investors in, they have to have the vote ratified by the majority of supporters who have got shares in the club. But I wouldn't expect the news to come tomorrow. Obviously, you'll get the news of if it's been approved, but it won't then happen immediately, particularly with all the travel restrictions and bits like that at the minute. Damien, my father works in Rotterdam. All right, fair enough. That's a fair way to fall in love with them. Over 1,000, between 1,000 and 1,200 final games. Jeez. That is dedication. Fair play to you. So do you still travel over? I know you can't at the moment, but do you still travel over from Northern Ireland to watch them regularly? That's a pretty remarkable football love story. Mine's a bit more boring. Born in Luton, support Luton. Easy as that. So we've got the injuries now. It looks like Billy Gilmore, he will take a while to get back fit. He's been out for 4 months or so. We've got a player to promote to the 23s. I'm not worried about that stuff. And we're back to Tuesday night. That's how quick the games are coming now. So I would imagine we'll start flying through these ones. So Toots out injured. Straight swap with Martin Craney. And then Darnell Johnson on the bench. I'm just going to check. Because I think Johnson is probably rated better than Craney. And I think physicality-wise, particularly coming up against Peterborough, if we go for that and keep Craney as a substitute, we'll probably be in a better nick. Tunnicliffe's dropping a little bit, but he's not going to be in much longer. And we're going to bring Jack Clark in, who's now fully fit after injury. He will come onto the bench for... I'm going to put him on for Nathan Dyer, who's probably become the outcast of the signings. He's really important in the dressing room. But Jack Clark slightly edges it. And I might even start him, Clark. Because Caelan Hines has had a couple of poor games now. 6.7, 6.7. He's just been average. And he's settling into a new club. So let's get Lang as the inside forward. Jack Clark on the right. 1 change or 2 change to the teams. 1 enforced, 1 not. Oh, we've got too many loan players. Oh, that's the thing I didn't think about with the right back. Big problem, that. Has anyone asked at Wrexham to stop the count? Craig, I'm not doing politics here. It's amazing how much you can get attached to a club. Yeah, absolutely. No problem at all. It's good to see people who have got unique routes to supporting football teams. I'm not sure. Yeah, I would imagine the Wrexham thing. I mean, it'd be great for the club publicity-wise if they get the takeover. It's just whether it's something that's sustainable long-term. I mean, I've got to look at these signings here and think, do we try and get one of these on a permanent? Because otherwise we're going to be hamstrung for a while. In midfield, we're going to have to put Roberts on the bench then instead of Palmer. And Craney will be replaced by Nathan Dyer, I guess. That's about all we can do. We've still got 2 subs on the bench. 2 defenders on the bench, sorry. So let's go and get into the game. Wigan v Peterborough. We're at home. We will try and get on the front foot. I don't know if it'll work out so well, though. Second game of the day. If we can get another result, it's a tough run. And then the 3 ones afterwards are the ones we've got to win. But then Dembele, Clark, Harris, Schmodix, they've got a very good side of Peterborough. Going forwards, they've replaced what they lost, haven't they? They lost, obviously, Ivan Toney for big money in the summer, but they've still got a very good team. Let's go and get into the first half. We're favourites for a reason. I'm not quite sure what that reason is, but let's get into it. The fact that Tunnicliffe's the weakest in the side is bizarre to me. As Palmieri puts it in, Clark's there, heads over the bar. Nearly a chance to go 1-0 up. If we can get an early lead, I fancy us to win heavy. What are your thoughts on as a subscriber? I'm grateful to have so many. That's the honest thing for me. And for me, I know that longer term, when we're talking about whether there'll be channel members and whether we'll be growing this into part of a job, anyone who watches a video, anyone who likes one, anyone who subscribes, anyone who follows on Discord, on Twitter, even people who come in and put a thumbs down on them, they're coming and giving me a view, even if it's just to think they're winding me up, you know. People who come and watch, it does make a difference. The support for FM21's been incredible. And that's been the nicest thing with the streaming, is seeing all of the regulars that were here beforehand and then adding in 5 or 10 new faces as well. It's a lovely thing to have. As we're back in and we're behind to Peterborough as well, this is starting to become a bit of a chore now. We won away at Wigan the first day. We won away at Ipswich, and then we beat Gillingham. We thought maybe this is going to be the one. I'm going to drop back to balance because we're getting outplayed. And we're going to berate them because it's been a poor performance. And I don't really see where the win's coming from. As they clear downfield, they're going to be in again, are they? Oh, Che Tilt, what's happened to you? Mistake for this first goal, mistake there, and Vickers spares his blushes. I don't quite know what's happening to him. Ryan's shot on any good. He set up a long throw for the equaliser in the first game. So away at Charlton, we drew 1-1 goal, and Ryan shot and set up the goal. It wasn't the best long throw, actually, but it led to the chaos in the area. As Jack Clark goes down the left, it's out for a throw. We haven't really put a fluent performance together since those first two games. Favourite game I've ever been to? Norwich away in the FA Cup for Luton Town. It was the first time in 30 years a Premier League side had lost at home to a non-league side. But the weekend, the day, everything about it was incredible. It was snowing, there was ice on the ground, it was -10. It was a brilliant day. A brilliant weekend as well. Absolutely loved it. So we're going to ask for desire. We've got lots of lads demotivated. And this is where our reputation comes into it, I think. Carl, maximum 3 subs in Scotland, second season onwards. So I've got to do it for one game at least. Craig, thoughts on Wickham? He's not a probably big fan of Wickham, Craig. Me and Charlie like them. They've been a really accommodating club for us on the podcast. They let us in behind the scenes to the media suite to interview people. We've spoken to Joe Jacobson, the skipper, for an interview. We've spoken to the head of media, Matt Cecil. They've been so good to us. So you can have your arguments on how they got up and what you think of their style of football. But as a club, they've been so accommodating for us as a tiny podcast who didn't have any need to support us, and they did. And they've done more, probably bar Tranmere, than any other football club. So hats off to them for me. We've got a quarter of this game to try and get a result. Jack Clark's been woeful, to be quite frank. So Otterball will come on for him. Hines will come on for Garner. And I'm going to chuck Lang up front again. Advance forwards. I'm just trying to work out what the best style is, what the best team is. We're not quite there yet. There's not really much else we can do. There's a few people looking anxious. Johnson's been poor, so maybe Craney will start the next game. I'm going to replace Offerball because he's had injury problems, and we'll bring on Carlos Sanchez. And as we go to the tactics, we'll go positive again. We're going to run at the defence a bit more, hit the early crosses, whip them in. And I think that's about it. I can't push higher up the pitch because we've still got a couple of slower defenders. So let's just see if it makes a difference. Carl, have your biggest player stand on the keeper and then you'll get loads of goals. Yeah, I've set that up. I've got Joe Garner, the big man up top, standing on the keeper. But his first few throws haven't reached it. And in this game, we've barely had an attack. So he's not had the chance to show it off. It is a bit of a shame. Yes, see, he wasn't a big fan of Wickham in that either. Oh, absolutely. I mean, the fact that Wickham got up to the Championship, whatever way it happened, you cannot begrudge them the achievement there of what they've done. And they're well run off the pitch. They live within their means, which a lot of clubs don't, particularly at Championship level. And after a start where, again, they were getting slated for the way they'd started, they've become a competitive side. And it didn't take them long at all, really. So, hats off to them. You can't begrudge what they've done. We've been poor here. We're playing Plymouth Argyle next. Now, this is interesting. Because I've seen a few saves, obviously, where I've been managing, and I've seen a couple of others as well. And Plymouth Argyle have always been right up there. And I don't know, after coming up, losing their player of the season last year in Anthony Sarcevic, another man we spoke to on the podcast, I don't know how they've managed to do so well here. And is it just that the players they brought in are really good? Ryan Hardy's back for a second year and he's rated well. He's obviously joined since the game. Danny Mayer is very good. In fact, they've got a good side here. Their players are rated really well, so I can see them doing okay. And maybe that answers the question, doesn't it? But another great club. I mean, their fans, when the Anthony Sarcevic interview came out, made it the most successful thing our podcast had done to that point. There's so many remarkable positives in the footballing world. We focus on a few negatives. Like we put out a Derby episode yesterday, and some of the stupidity in that is remarkable. But generally, it's all very good. We've got another staffing update there, so let me catch up with the chat quickly. The viewers are creeping up massively, so thank you so much for everyone coming in. If you haven't yet, please chuck a thumbs up on it. I'm delighted you're choosing to spend your Sunday morning with me. We'll be live till somewhere between 11:30 and 11:45. All I would say on Wickham save is there was a second and Joe Jacobson threw a fit. You were second and Joe Jacobson threw a fit. I just don't know how you fell out with him, because as you can tell from that interview we had, he is one of the nicest blokes in football. Maybe FM misjudged it, or maybe your attitude to him wasn't right. Just scored off another long throw. Ryan Shotton's quality. I just wish we could create some throw-ins. If the network save is Wrexham v County and you're Wrexham, please win. I think he said he would be. Was it me or you that was going to be Wrexham? I'd imagine I would have said I wanted to be Stockport, because they're my team I've got a soft spot for in non-league. But Craig, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I really can't remember which one I said I'd be. We were looking at St Albans Hemel because it's local. They're both doing similarly now, and they're sides that we obviously know quite well we could go to the grounds of. But as Craig pointed out, in non-league, if you're local, you play the fixtures on New Year's Day and Boxing Day. So we would have had half a season, 2 quick episodes, and then something else. But I guess if we're recording it in advance, it doesn't really matter, Craig. So we could still do that one. Matt Oakley, under-18s assistant manager. Why not? Another former Premier League player. And we're just trying to fill out this squad. And this is an ongoing process. The squad, the backroom team. Because everything happened so late. We couldn't sign anyone. Tom, you're in. Good morning. Welcome along. Thank you for popping in. Great to have so many of you here. I think Load FM would be County. Yeah, so you've just said what I said there, basically. I've got a soft spot for Stockport, so I'm sure that's what I said. Craig, my attitude was fine. I don't believe you. Joe Jacobson would never cause trouble. 13 assists for Ryan Shotton. So I don't think he directly got the assist in mine. I think it bobbled around a few players first. But he caused the chaos. And let me go back to it, actually. If I go back to the throw-ins, I wonder if he's taken them all long. Because it's one of the things that seems to have reset a few times. So if we get him on here, yeah, look, it's still saying mixed again. So let's go long. Left, let's go long. And let's see if that makes a difference. But yeah, he did set one up in his first game. And I suppose you're going to get the odd one where he doesn't do it. And I said about this potentially easier spell, or more useful spell for us. And we've now got Plymouth and MK Dons, so a second and third respectively. So it's been a bit of a bizarre start to the League One season. Sorry about that. Let's have a look. Only 2 questions in the build-up to Plymouth. We're now 15th on 8 points, and we're starting to look like a relegation threatened side. Teams that we've drawn against, Doncaster and Charlton, are below us. We obviously beat Ipswich, but they've done well aside from that. Peterborough just beat us. Pompey battered us. And Burton Albion are top. See, in our League One predictions on the podcast, I predicted them to be my dark horse for the playoffs. Football Manager suggests their team's good, and they are doing absolutely woefully in real life. Very frustrating. Just shows I wasn't completely thick though. My research was okay. L Gaming, I did say Wrexham and I want them to challenge like I did with Chesterfield. So yeah, I mean either or. It looks like it's going to be one of the two. The network save will be Wrexham v Chesterfield, Wrexham v Stockport, or St Albans v Hemel. We could put it out to a vote, I guess, but I'd imagine more will go for the bigger clubs. Normally what we decide it on is who the big YouTubers are managing, if any of them are at other clubs. So like last year, one of them did Notts County, so we had to rule them out, for example. I think that was second yellow card who was doing it, because I'm quite a big fan of his. So that's normally what it hinges on. Tom, favourite flower? Jesus. That is a tough question for the morning. I mean, it is Masters weekend, so it's an apt question. Because a lot of the courses are named after them. I'm not sure. I'll come back to you on that one. I might have to answer that one in the next stream. As you know, one of my few guilty pleasures in life, aside from everything I like, is very plain. It's sport, it's comedy. There's no... Like, I don't watch much factual stuff. I don't watch any nature stuff. I don't watch any animal stuff. I don't really have any hobbies on that side of things. But the one guilty pleasure I have is the Chelsea Flower Show, and I have no idea why. No idea how I got into it. Nobody I know likes it. But randomly, I ended up watching it and liking it. So, if anyone can explain how that happened, I don't know. And if it makes any of you want to own up to liking it, then that would be much appreciated. I can help you with some tactics. Tell me who's good. The whole team they've signed this summer's pretty good. Jordan Ponticelli scored goals galore. You can't let him cheat. You're going to let him cheat, then we're going to do St Albans Hemel if that happens. I've got to get redemption with Hemel as well. Although I'll probably end up at St Albans because Craig will want to prove how badly I did the other year. Right, we're being recommended to make 4 changes. They're telling us to take Tilt out. So is it just because he was that poor last game? He's saying Sanchez for Tunnicliffe, Roberts for Lang, and Callum Lang for Gardner up front. So Gilmore's still out. Let's see what we can do with it. I thought Tunnicliffe was one of the best players at the weekend. So I'm not going to take him out. I need that bite in midfield. I think I'm going to keep the team the same. I mean, the only one I'm tempted to take out is Joe Garner. Because after a good start, he's having a poor run now. So if we put Lang up front as an advance forward, means we can adapt that tactic a bit as well. So he'll go up there. And on the left, do I bring Hines back in or do I go for Otterbourne? I think we go for Hines for now. It gives us a bit more strength on the bench going forward. And we've got Nathan Dyer we can give a try as well. So we are going to go positive for this one, I think. We're going to go for the whipped crosses. We're going to try and hit them early, I think. And if we hit the early crosses, hopefully as well, we'll then get some blocked out for a throw-in. That's the idea. I don't think we can change much else though, really. Let's go for it. We might take the crossing thing off if it doesn't work out. Let's catch up with the chat quickly. Jordan Davis is good on FM. Well, we saw he was the first £1 million player for Cliftonville in FM20, wasn't he? Didn't end up good there. Not Crufts Craig. No, not a big fan of that. Like a good tulip. Oh, lovely. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you, Tom. You've nailed it here because I did not expect to get to have this conversation in a live stream. It's a really tough question, though. I'm going to have to come back to you on it. I'm going to have to come back because I'll be pausing for ages. I'll come back with a good answer, though. Trust me on that. Never mind, you didn't hear anything, Craig. Thank you for everyone popping in as well. Great to see the viewers creeping up as the morning goes on. Please do put a thumbs up on it if you haven't already. We're 1 away from double figures. You can be the hero that takes us past 10 again. We've had 20 minutes here. We're doing all right. But we're not really creating anything special. And I don't know if that's the crossing instructions. So he's telling me not to do it. He's telling me to take it off. So I'll take that off. I'm not going to put the shorter passing on until we've got Gilmore in the side as well. But let's just see if we can get on top. They've gone very defensive, Plymouth. They've left 2 up front and got a back 6 essentially. 3 centre-halves, 2 wing-backs and a holding midfielder. We've seen that a lot in this game. As Offerball gets it from Tunnicliffe, goes wide to Johnson. We have kept him in just for this one. As Offerball puts it through, Callum Lang's in, has to score. He's offside anyway, but it's straight at the keeper. And all of our strikers are just hitting a bit of bad form, unfortunately. We've been the better side, but I wouldn't say any have had great chances. And 0-0 so far is probably a fair result. So let's point the finger, say keep working hard. Ryan Shotton, he's had a few attitude problems with me, which I am struggling with. You like loads of plants, not sure how to answer. I just want to make sure it's a good answer, to be honest. I'm not sure. There's probably 3 or 4 I've got to choose between, so I'll think about it. Do you prefer music playing after a goal or not? Yeah, I think you have to, don't you? It makes sense. It's the one thing I said about the match day vlog I did behind closed doors at Milton Keynes, Wimbledon. Is that they didn't have the crowd noise in the stadium, which a lot of the media people we'd spoken to in football had said had happened at the grounds they'd been at. But there was still the after goal stuff, so yeah, it's good. It did miss it, when the away team scored, because obviously there's no sound. They don't play the music for that. It was really weird when the away team scored. As Caelan Hines puts us ahead, it's a lucky ricochet from Lang's original ball. But we're not going to care. As long as we can start getting wins, we are happy. Yeah, and that L game, you basically said what I've said there, essentially. It's really... But you say that, it's really weird when an away team scores and there's no sound. Even if they played like a muted crowd noise for the sort of smaller away section or whatever. It's a bit weird. But Ryan Hardy's just run the length here. Vickers saves the day. Shay Till is our best defender. Ryan Shotton is joint best. They're two of the best players at the club on paper, and they cannot compete here. I don't really know what's happening. Tilt heads the corner away. He's very good in the aerial duels still, and Hardy holds it up for Watts. I would argue Plymouth for a threat here though, and look how much space they've got out there. Where are the fullbacks? Cooper gets to the byline, crosses block, back to Mayer. Again, we've not seen a long throw in this game really. McLeod intercepted by Hines, and it's given away. Very strange game so far. 20 to go. We'll make some changes. Jack Clark coming back to fitness. We don't want him to play too many minutes. So he's going to be replaced by Otterbor. I could bring on Nathan Dyer, to be fair. I'm tempted to, but Otterbor's got more pace in behind. I could replace Callum Lang with Gardner. He's not had the best spell for a little while now. We'll bring him on as a pressing forward on attack. And Ryan Tunnicliffe is complacent, which disappoints me. So Otterbor into midfield. And Sanchez back into his holding role. 20 minutes to go. Can we hold on? As Plymouth come forward down the right with Kamara. It's blocked out for a corner kick. And the subs will probably come on now. I expected Notts County to have more fans in the ground than they did. When we went to Notts County last, I know it was in League 2, it was brilliant. As Joe Garner's put it in, it's a long early ball into the box from the left. And Joe Garner scores. Fantastic moment for us. And we lead 2-0. And it looks like we're going back to winning ways. But we had that day where we got promoted with Luton in League 2. Notts County went into the playoffs. Their fans were a class act, and it was a brilliant ground. So, to be fair to them, they deserve credit in my eyes. And again, like yourselves, they're one of those big sides at that level. And you guys have got to stick together, because you're going to need each other soon. Right, that's a good win. I think we've got to praise the lads. We need to try and get them back on side. All pleased, including Ryan Shotton. But I'm a bit disappointed we're not seeing more of that long throw. It's so great to have so many of you here. Thank you all for your support. Definitely outshining yesterday's. Is Sunday easier for people? We're doing really well at the moment. We're back to winning ways. And if we can beat MK Dons, who lost to Blackpool, we'll be right back up in that playoff picture already. And considering 3 weeks before the season, we were losing half of our squad and didn't think we were going to get a takeover to even be able to get a free agent in. I mean, we're lucky we've got a tycoon-led consortium. And I'm kind of wishing we didn't for the challenge. But I'm not going to complain. We've got a great chance now. Just to remind everyone, next week we will be continuing this save. Monday's the day off of streaming, so there'll be no live stream tomorrow. But then the rest of the week, we'll have Tuesday to Friday weekdays at 5:30 PM. And then Saturday and Sunday at 10:30 AM. So 6 streams next week to get through the season. If we go up or go down, I might carry it on for one more year. But obviously the week after I'm back to work, unfortunately. So we'll be down to our 2 weekly streams then. Again, we're still playing 2 games a week. So I don't want to play too many in the under-23s. But thank you for your incredible support with the streams. It does make such a difference. The video support's incredible. The first head coach has gone well past 2,000 now. Which is remarkable after a few days. Oh, come on. Who's not happy about my management? We've just won. Why are they so unhappy? We've not had that at any of the other clubs. Let's speak to them. We're concerned about the poor dressing room atmosphere. I'm going to be ambitious here. Raise our hands to pacify. Let's get the results. Oh, they're all disappointed. I can't lose them this quickly. I can't lose it. Right, we're going to convince them. We're just going to say we'll improve things. Look, they're all pleased. Thank you, that was very productive. We've got them back on board for now. They're good players, they're gelling together. Hopefully that means they'll get a result, and then that will naturally improve things. The team cohesion's poor and we're a full-time side, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the training, particularly while we're in this position where we can't train so much because we're playing so many games a week. So team recovery, I could have a look at that and change it. Oh, what should I do? And I don't often go and look at these trainings, so you're getting a little treat here. I'm going to turn the recovery, I think. No, I'm not going to turn the recovery. Let's take the physical one out, because the last thing we need is to get people injured. So we're going to change that to, is it extracurricular? Team bonding. Yeah, we're going to go for it. Team cohesion increased, happiness greatly increased. Let's get one of those in. Just this once. We're going to put team bonding in on Thursday. So if we can beat MK Dons, get the team bonding, beat Northampton, I think that will sort everything. Still in double figures. Thank you so much for your support. We've had 2 games this morning with differing levels of success. 3 games, sorry. 1 win, 1 draw, 1 defeat. But we're still in 9th. The league's very tightly bunched. It's inconsistent. And some of the youngsters improving out on loan, which is great to see. But let's get to the press conference. We're taking things one game at a time. Stop trying to cause things. I'm a big fan of Russell Martin. He's done a really good job. I'm not in awe. Who's Lee Evans going to be rested? I think he'll play. AFC Wimbledon face Blackpool. I could not care less. Again, there's a lot about team styles in this year's game. I'm not entirely sure all the questions are accurate, but then I guess the media wouldn't be. You've quite often seen Klopp berating people at the top for what they've said about them, the way people play. We've got our FA Cup first round draw. Because it's 80 teams, I'm not going to play for it individually, but let's have a look and see who we get. I don't want a banana skin on the road. If we get a good game at home, then I'll be happy. So we've pressed draw all teams. It's taken a while now. We're at home to Havant and Waterlooville, who are very common and well-known FA Cup shock specialists. So they played at Liverpool, if you remember. We interviewed Richard Paquette on the podcast. He scored at Anfield. It's one of those famous moments. But they've always caused shocks, this lot. They're second in the National League South. They've got Godfrey Pocker, who signed in the summer. He's their skipper. I interviewed him in the summer as well. He's one of the nicest blokes in football. It just seems like today we've bumped into everyone we've ever interviewed on the podcast. But Godfrey Pocker, he's such a nice bloke. Really top man. And as a result, our game with Crew's been rescheduled. If Wrexham go up, would you like me to save seats for the 92 review when fans are allowed back? That's an interesting question. Because the thing you ask is, I don't know. Because it has to. The problem we have with the review to 92 when Luton are in the Championship is that obviously I'm a season ticket holder of Luton. So those 23 games, I can't go to another. I'll then go to any new Luton away games and probably a few others that I'd like to as well. So that we've only really got the international breaks and then the odd other, like where a Luton game gets moved to a Sunday for TV, or where a Luton game's on Wednesday night and we can go somewhere local on a Tuesday night. Then you've got to factor in that Tom lives in the north of the country, I live in the south. It does make it quite logistically difficult. So I wouldn't worry about the effort for that. But of course we'll let people know when we go into grounds of the clubs you support. Because it's going to be a quick catch up, because we lost. I had 9 planned between when lockdown started and the end of the season. So I've got a few to catch up on. I just want to see what we're going to do with the lineup today. I want to keep it the same as the one that won. But I'm trying to work out if there's anywhere I can adjust. Darnell Johnson played all right in the last game, I think. So we can leave him in. He did. He got above a 7. So let's keep him in. We still haven't got Gilmore back to fitness. So I think it's the same squad. I'm going to stick with the same 11 and 18. What we really need to do is end the goal drought for Callum Lang. Who did Wrexham get? I didn't see, actually. We'll go and have a look after this game. We've got to close down Cameron Jerome, the wily old fox up front. They've got some good players in there, though. Richard Keogh, the experienced centre-half. Lee Nichols, a good keeper. It was Fisher starting in the league game I watched in the matchday vlog. But let's go and get into the first half. We're going to stretch out the arms. We'll get them to pick up where they left off. At least this game and one more today with Northampton. And with 5 minutes gone, nothing really happening. We're sticking positive. We've had the better of the early stages. Look how many MK Dons have got pressed forward. We're playing out from the back. They've left 4 up and it's going to work for them. Fraser gets there and it's just wide. That is a very high press. So those 3 centre midfielders, they've got all pushed up. As Palmieri's got a free kick. To the back post, it's brought down and he's cleared away to Fraser. He'll latch onto it and he'll run forward. And they've got a 2-on-2 here. Thompson gets onto that. And he's coming into the box unopposed. A chance to get a shot away perhaps. But it's straight at Josh Vickers. The angle was narrowed. And I'll tell you what, if Carl's still here, we've not seen that long throw threat from Charlton yet. Looking forward to reviewing some more in the new year, hopefully. That's the plan. I mean, for me, it's getting back into the Luton ground first. MK Dons are dominant now, so we're going to drop back to balanced. We're going to demand a bit more. And I will take off that early crosses again, because it doesn't seem to work so much. But yeah, I'm hoping by the end of the season, we can at least have a couple of new ones. Who's better at cricket, you or Tom? As Tom says, neither of us have really played. I would imagine that I'm going to put it out there and we'll see. Well, hopefully one day we'll see if we're right. I reckon Tom will be a better bowler. We'll both be slow bowlers, but he'll be a better one. I think I'd be the better wicket keeper because obviously the goalkeeping history. The batting, I don't know. Because it's something that neither of us have got really any experience in. I mean, the one thing I used to be good at football is that I could read the game and I was quite disciplined. So I was the more disciplined centre half, or could play in a holding role and just man mark someone. So I reckon discipline wouldn't be my issue. A bit like an Alistair Cook though with the left arm opener. It's just whether I'd be able to score quickly enough, or score at all. But defending outside off stump, I don't reckon I'd get tempted into too many. I just don't reckon I'd be scoring quick enough. That's the only thing I worry about. Even when you've seen I've played the cricket games on the channel, I hate playing offside, just the fear of it. So unless I'm glancing them off the leg, probably not going to score many runs. As Evans goes long down to the left to Hines. We're in 1-on-1 here. Can he score? Oh, what a goal. Caelan Hines with the chip. We've seen Chris O'Grady do it once for Bangor, but that was a little dink over the keeper from short range. That is a glorious finish, and what an animation in FM. Fair play. We lead at Milton Keynes Dons, and that was remarkable. I love that finish. Sorensen picks it up to Paul at the back. Here's Fraser. Long downfield to Walker. Oh, it's straight back in. Straight back in. We score a brilliant goal, get excited, and then concede within a minute. Evans is struggling physically, the key man. Lang's having another poor game, still doesn't look like scoring. Oh, you go from so high to so low quickly. Palmieri's knackered as well. We've got to watch out for that. He heads away downfield. We have got left-backs available in Cal Naismith. Tom Pearce in the reserves if we want to rest him on Saturday. As Brown picks it up on the left wing. Chance to cross it in and it's good from Vickers. Really strong goalkeeping. So let's ask for a bit more. Let's try and get it downfield. And here's Clark. Oh, it's nearly the perfect first touch. Almost nailed it. Almost got it spot on as it's Richard Keogh. We've not really got in behind him either. I might put Otterbor on the left up against him. Just to see how that works out. As Williams comes down the middle. Brilliant run. He's beaten the fullback here and he's back to Fraser. If we lose this game, I'm going to be furious. It's out to Brown. His chance to shoot and it's just over the bar. So instructions, we're going to go a little less wide and we're going to have to make some changes because physically we're not really competing. And it's a mix of do we take off the ones who are playing poorly or do we take off the ones who are most tired? Because if they've got fresh legs alongside them, it might not be an issue. Oh, the chat's going busy here. Let's have a look. Carl, massive in the Scottish League. Not in League One yet, unfortunately. I don't know if it's just the way we're playing, but we've had a few and nothing's really come of them. We've not even seen highlights. You could make a one-off video to see at some point. Oh, the thing is, we haven't really... I mean, Tom's got a cricket club local to him. There's nothing really about in my area. Have you got any players over 6'5"? No, but we've got quite a few who are good in the air. I don't know how tall they are. Curtis Tilt is 6'4". I've called him Shay a few times, haven't I? It's Curtis Tilt. I don't know where I've got that from. I'm sure I've mixed him up with a right winger I've had before called Tilt. Shotton's obviously taking them. The right back, I don't know how tall the normal right back is. He's not in the box normally. Up front, Callum Lang's 6 foot. Joe Garner, when he's in, is... Oh, he's not as tall, Joe Garner. I thought he was taller than that. I suppose you might have hit the nail on the head. We've got... Most of them are 6 foot, but they're not a huge amount taller than that. So the subs we're going to make, I'm going to gamble, keep the tired ones on, and take off the plums who are playing worse. So I'm going to put Joe Garner in up front. He's going to be the pressing forward on attack. I'm going to bring Jack Clark off for Otterbor. And I'm going to keep him on the right for now. And I'm going to take off Tunnicliffe again, who's been pretty average. Or do I take off Evans? He just seems such a standout player to take out. And with Gilmore coming back, we can rest him soon. So I'm going to bring Sanchez on for Tunnicliffe. Normal subs, and with 20 minutes to go, can we find a winner? That's the question. So I haven't replaced either of the ones that we were recommended to, basically. We've got a throw on the right with Johnson, though, and a chance to come forward. Who's going to be better in the field, Tom? I think you. You're probably fitter than me now. And I wouldn't need to be in the field, because I'll be the wicket keeper. So I'll be flying around as Joe Garner scored, but it's offside. I'll go flying around behind the stumps, because I can dive all over the place. I don't mind getting dirty there. But I don't want to be chasing in the outfield. So I reckon you'd be better fielding generally, but I'll be the wicket keeper. So I don't have to worry about it. It's my excuse for not having to charge around. We just got to make sure we've always got a first slip in, so I don't have to go running behind to the boundary. It's an amazing feeling being out in the middle. Yeah, I'd love to have it, to be honest. It's one of the sports I'd like to play. I'd love to get back to playing tennis again as well. We only do that when I'm with Tom, basically. In the future, here's a video idea for you. Everyone you have interviewed in the team. It's funny you say that, L Gaming. That very thing is planned for later this year. The only reason it hasn't happened yet is because we haven't interviewed an active goalkeeper. So Charlie's got one potentially lined up for next week from Northern Ireland. And if that happens, that series will be happening. We've been talking about it for months off camera. So I'm glad you mentioned that and that someone has got an idea for it, because it's something that I was planning to do. I was tempted to do it sort of, you know, like with Cliftonville this year and Macclesfield. We're near the end, where one of the long-term stories finished and we needed to have a series to take us through to FM22. Because I appreciate the appetite for it won't be huge. But yeah, it's something I definitely wanted to do. So I'd very much be hoping to see that before FM22. If not, could be our B to save next year. We've got a sell-on clause, and it's big money as well. I don't think he'll ever be worth 3.5 million. So 312 grand, that's big. And what we'll then do is we'll go and see if there's a free agent target man, because Lang's not scoring and he can play wide, and Joe Garner's not big and he's not scoring goals. Think Tony Pulis, he had Sidibe, Shaw, Crossford, Delap Thrones. He had more than that as well, didn't he? I mean, he had some cracking players in there. It was a perfect team for it. And he had big fullbacks as well. He had Dickinson on the left. Who did he used to play at right back? I can't remember the other guy's name. Oh no, Shotton went out to right back, didn't he, in the end? And I guess he was in the box when Delap was taking him. Buy a massive player just for the throw-ins. I mean, that's what I'm looking for now. Good, I'm glad you'd like to see that, because that's something I was planning to do. So let's go and have a look. Obviously the market's close, so we'd have to get a free agent. And we'd have to free up a space in the squad with someone else. Basically spells the end of Will Keane, who's only got 2 months on his contract. But is there a target man here? Edward Butin, 5'11", no. Anthony Stokes is a little man. And John, 5'9". So there's just not one available at the minute. I will have a look for our scout reports as well. If you have a look for a right back, just in case, because we can get a really big right back in. Not that guy, 5'9", 5'10". And Abate's still there. I mean, I'd be tempted if he could take the wages. It'd be a good thing to have. He wants promotion next year. He wants to be a fullback. We'll give him a language course. We're not going to promise to improve the squad or the coaching team, though. Let's see what he says. How much does he want? Oh! Oh, that could be good. Even for the name and the shirt sales. Ignacio Abate's a must. I mean, we can, once January starts, end the loan deal of either Johnson or Craney. So it's certainly not going to be a long-term burden on the wage bill. I know Craney's earning £2 a week. I'm not sure what Johnson's earning. And there we go. Let's have a look at what Johnson's on. 3 months, 1 million. 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 3 He's on 750 quid. So we'd probably be sending back Craney. Tom, language course? No. Yeah. So you can send players who don't speak the language naturally on a language course to learn it. It's been in FM a few years now. Obviously, you stopped playing before all this stuff came in. To interview it wouldn't be much trouble. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're looking at a goalkeeper based in Northern Ireland. We've got a cracking midfield. We'll actually have some good subs in midfield. I was looking at playing the narrow diamond because we've got... I mean, Dean Bowditch is technically, I think, still in the game, even though he's not got a club this year. He is still in the game as a free agent. So Dean Bowditch is one of them. I'll just take you through the midfielders we've got. We've got Shannon Clucas, who's playing in Northern Ireland with Glentoran, is a good player. Godfrey Poku we saw beforehand. Obviously the main star of the show, the Bolton skipper. And if he could be the podcast skipper, because he's got the highest views of any interview, Anthony Sarcevic, lovely bloke, he'll be in there. Who else have we got in midfield? There were definitely a couple of others, and I look really bad now for missing them out. Ben Pringle, he's the other one. He's just gone to Morecambe. So he's playing in the Football League as well. There are other positions where we're a lot weaker. Reece Bennett just signed for Carlisle the other day. Obviously, we've talked. He's done FM on YouTube and that before, and Twitch. He's just joined Carlisle. He was on the bench on Saturday. He'd be in at centre-half. We've got a fair few. What would happen if he didn't do the course? Mishaps at the back? I don't know. We've got the two French ones in who can't speak a word of English, and they're doing all right. So, but it does help, obviously. And I guess for someone like Abate, we'd like to keep him as a coach longer term and whatever else. But for that wage, it's an offer we can't refuse. And he's got more of the physicals left than Craney, who's been grossly underrated in this year's game. Definitely on the pace front. So, I mean, I don't know what else we can do other than look for a striker in our scout reports who's maybe a target man. Oh, look, we're linked with Lee Grant as a goalkeeper. He's at United. He must be 4th or 5th choice now. I didn't realise he still had a contract, to be honest. But he's on 30 grand a week, so that won't happen. Could bring Greg Halford back. Have all the long throw specialists and no one to head it in. I mean, I kind of wish we'd got Ashley Williams. He was the perfect man for it. No, he's not at all, but he's great in the air. But there's no real strikers up there. I'll set a scouting assignment, see if we can get one in for January. But it's not boding well at the minute. We've got one more game this morning, which is Northampton. And obviously, we are unbeaten now in 2 games, so we've got to look at the positives. We can win at home and draw away. We'll be happy. So, let's go and scout an assignment. Who's unassigned? I can't see who's unassigned there. They all look like they've got one. So, let's go and look for striker. 3.5 star ability. We want them to be good in the role of target man. Available, yes. And we'll search for a month because we've got until the transfer window. I'd rather get a proper one in January. Because if you look at the way the season's condensed now, how many league games have we played now? 3, 4, 8 games already. That'll be 10, 14. So we'll have played less than half the season before January. Much less than half the season. Probably have 1 or 2 postponed due to the internationals, due to weather as we get into December. Particularly if they've managed to get the rugby team playing on the ground in-game. Because the pitch will dig up really quickly then. Thank you to everyone coming along as well. Great to have so many thumbs up on here. I do appreciate you. On a Sunday morning, to be in double figures throughout is incredible. For a channel my size. Don't forget the head coach will be back at 3:30 today as well. Rotating every day with Bangor City. And the next week, the weekdays from this week are going to be big. There's some massive events in there. So it's going to be a dramatic first season in both, I hope. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. The head coach obviously is the more popular of the two. I always prefer the one club story. And a couple of people have asked, why don't I just do the head coach the whole way through? It's a very simple answer, really. The way that I enjoy this and keep it going, you see a lot who give up after a year or 2 or whatever. The reason I enjoy it so much is because I do the saves I would do if I wasn't doing YouTube. So I'm keeping the same saves that I would do off camera if I wasn't here. And it makes it much easier. And it means you're enjoying it because it still feels like a hobby then. Does it say what languages a player speaks? Yes, it does. So if we go to Abate, for example, we go to information. We have got the languages they speak, the nations they're eligible for, if they played for the internationals, when they started and stopped, when they scored their first goal, what they're eligible for, clubs and country eligibility. So yeah, he only speaks Italian at the moment, which with us not having any Italians would be an issue. But we've got Northampton today. I'm just checking out the dynamics actually. It is gradually improving. Who's unhappy? It's Lee Evans still, isn't it? So he's created the poor dressing room atmosphere and then said, oh, there's a poor dressing room atmosphere. So Billy Gilmore is not fit today. He's back to training tomorrow. So our next game is, it's on Tuesday night. So what I'll try and do for Gilmore is get him in for those two games. Havant and Waterlooville and Tranmere. So I might actually just play those three off camera. Because the trophy game is irrelevant. We're already out and we don't care about it. Blackpool away is a one-off, and then I know we missed one league game, and the Havant game should be an easy win. So if we can get through those three, because I know the league is the bread and butter, and that's what people want to see the most. So in terms of performances, I'm just going to drop Jack Clark out again. I'm tempted to give Nathan Dyer a start, but I'm not going to. I'm going to go for Otterbor. No, I'm not. I'm going to bring Garner back in. Callum Lang out on the right. In midfield, I think Palmer's rated better than Tunnicliffe now. He is. So we'll take Jack Clark off the bench for Tunnicliffe. Give us more midfield depth. Because we've still got Dyer and Otterbor. And at the back, everyone else is fine, I think. Johnson had a poor game. So shall I bring in Martin Craney? We're at home. And I think that's it. There's the 11 for today. A few changes. We're just rotating, keeping people fit. And we'll hope for a victory. When do you plan to move club in the head coach? Whenever the right job offer or interest comes in. It's sort of a bit of an unknown with Brechin because we've never started at the bottom of Scotland before. We've started in England. We've ended up in Northern Ireland. We sort of know that if off camera, if we're in Wales, there's a bit of restriction on how quickly you can grow your reputation. But I don't actually know the answer for Scotland. I don't know if we'll have to build through the Scottish leagues for clubs. I don't know if we'll still attract English interest in, say, the National League if we do well with Brechin. I don't really know. I'd like to move on because obviously it's a journeyman save. We don't want to get too attached to a club. Oh, we've got a long throw. Shot and in. Oh, Sheehan heads away. A former Luton hero. But Palmer on the rebound. What a strike from Palmer. Incredible finish from 25 yards. And he's just nailed his place in the team. At home, we don't need that Tunnicliffe dogging around winning tackles. And Palmer is showing quality. So it's not direct, but Ryan shot and causing chaos again. Who's the most multilingual player? Ibrahimovic must speak a lot. There was one who was mentioned in a commentary for a game I was watching a little while ago. I can't remember who it is now. Another ball in gets a corner. We started this game really well, although Alan Sheehan is the star. A former Luton hero, captain for both promotion seasons. As Palmieri puts it in, Garner's up. Loses out and Shotton will get there. Chance to cross it in, but he's challenged. Keeps the ball. Still a bit of tennis there. Is into the back post to Lang. Two in the middle if he can find them. He's challenged. He's been poor, Lang. Really good player on paper, and he's just having a poor spell. George Grant scoring for Lincoln, much like real life. And Matty Palmer's picked up a knock. Says he's as fit as anyone else, though, so we'll keep an eye on it. But at half-time, we lead 1-0. It's been a comfortable performance. The getting the crosses in early on this occasion has actually worked. So we're going to point the finger, say there's still room for improvement. And bar Caelan Hines, everyone's looking all right at the minute. Though Northampton are coming forward here. It's been nicked though. Here's Palmer coming out of midfield. Looks fit to me. He's very good shape here. And he goes up to Garner. Chases it. He's got an inside runner. I presume it's Callum Lang up there. Gets to the byline. Chance to cross. Deflects onto the line. It's a good save by Mitchell. Another former Luton man. And a hero in our Macclesfield save last year. And he keeps the score at just 1. Son, Aubameyang, yes. Yeah, Son played in Germany. Aubameyang played in Germany. He speaks French probably as well. Would a Load FM Online Cup be something you consider in the future? Definitely in the future. I'll be honest, while I'm still working full-time in NHS work, it won't be possible. But if later on down the line I can make it part of my role, part of my job, I would love to do some sort of thing. The other thing I considered as a sort of alternative is longer term, once we get to that stage, if I am at the stage where things like channel memberships and Patreon and that are on, is to offer one of those tiers as a chance to, we'll do a fantasy draft. So like I did with Craig, and we'll do a two-legged tie on the channel with patrons or members. That's the sort of thing I was thinking of later down. But I don't know. It's a long way off, unfortunately. Evans has had a poor game. I'm going to bring on Carlos Sanchez. We're going to go Palmer as playmaker, Sanchez holding role, and Offerbor in the middle. Joe Garner's been average, as has Lang. So who can we get on for them? We're going to put Lang up top. On the right, it will be still Otterbor, I think. Because Sheehan's slow. So let's go for Otterbor. And then Palmieri's complacent. Craney's been average. Fullbacks have got really poor ratings on this game, actually. I'm going to bring Cal Naismith on. He's a Cliftonville legend from FM20. He barely got on the pitch this season. And I don't want him to just play the cup game. So let's give Naismith 20. We'll have a look at Zlatan after this game. Salah and Mane would have a couple. I guess Salah played in Italy as well, didn't he? Elga, which has been your favourite interview on the podcast? It's a good question. The favourite one that I've done, probably two. One of two would be either Sarcevic. It was successful. He was such a lovely bloke. It was a pleasant surprise as Matty Palmer scores again. We have found a new hero there. And we should be back in playoff contention. So Sarcevic is one. I think it's verging on 3,000 views now, which is remarkable. The second one that I did was Neil Wainwright. Just because he was one of my first heroes in a video game. In LMA Manager 2003. Tom will probably remember him from that as well. As Ryan Shotton throws it straight to Jonathan Mitchell. Bit of a bizarre one, that. But yeah, one of those two probably from the ones I've done. Although there's so many that have been great. So I don't want to offend anyone because there's been loads of brilliant interviews. In terms of the ones that we've done on the channel, so one that Charlie's done that I haven't, there's one coming out next week with a player called Jim Irvin. He plays for Ballymena. He was the captain of Linfield in one of their most... he's the captain of Ballymena. He played for Linfield in one of their most successful periods. He came through as a youth player at Nottingham Forest. And his story's brilliant. I really love that episode. I'm looking forward to people hearing it. So there's a few really great ones. There's so many. Ironically, the Wainwright and Sarcevic ones came out 2 days apart. And they probably changed our podcast channel forever. The scale that they went to. I mean, Neil Wainwright, he was in the comments replying to all of the people who were watching. He came and had a chat with them. He got another pro to come on, Dermot O'Carroll, who he'd played with at Morecambe. It's a really incredible gesture from professional footballers who've given up their time for free to speak to us. They don't have to do anything. They're coaches now, whatever it may be, if they've moved on. And they don't have to give us their time. So to respond, give us their time, and then go the extra mile. It's incredible. And we still keep in touch with a few of them. And I should give a special mention to Bobby Madley, the referee, as well. He was back on doing EFL this season. He was the first ever person of football fame to respond to us and do an interview. So he deserves a mention. And it was really good. But it was before we were doing video. And the same for Mark Palios, the Tranmere chairman. Should I send that centre-back on the Discord after? Where's the centre-back? Hang on, I've missed something here. So you can see him. Who's the centre-back? I'm losing the plot here. It's Sunday morning. My brain's not working. So we played this Northampton game. Do you know what? We're going to show a bonus. We're going to go through and play Blackpool. And then I'll do the 2 cup games off camera. And we'll come back on Tuesday. Then for Wimbledon and that run of league games. There's 6. So I might go up to Lincoln. And then we'll do Sunderland as the start of Wednesday's episode then. So as there's no stream tomorrow, let's do a bonus game. We'll get Blackpool in. A good way to finish off the Sunday morning. Should I ask a Wrexham player? The best thing you can do, I don't know if they've got it as a club. If they've got open DMs on Twitter or if they've got a club email, just write to them and say, I'm doing this. Is there any chance that I can speak to one of the players or speak to one of the coaches or someone? Because that's how it started for us. We were going to do a matchday vlog at Wycombe Tranmere. We emailed both clubs and said, look, is there anything you can do for us? We're just looking to try and speak to people. It's a bit of a dream for us. Tranmere responded and Mark Palios, the chairman, said, I'll come and speak to you. I'll give you a quick 5 or 10 minutes before the game. You can put it in as part of your vlog. And the head of media at Wycombe, Matt Cecil, said, we'll let you in behind the scenes. You can come and interview them in the media area. We got to go into the suite and get the official team sheets when they came out. It was a brilliant day. It was a brilliant day. And then obviously, Matt spoke to us for the podcast as part of the interview series. He got Joe Jacobson, the skipper, on board as well. You can't ask for much more. And then we did that Tranmere Matchday vlog in the FA Cup, where we went to Watford away. It turned out to be one of the best games of the season, as Abate is joining us. It got over 3,000 views. It was supported by the chairman and chairwoman, Nicola and Mark Palios, who were sharing it on social media. You can't thank those two clubs enough for what they're doing. And there's no harm in trying. So Abate's in. He's going to take a little while to get fit, of course, but he is rated as best after Satu, and it means we can free up a loan space in the squad, where at the moment we're using Darnell Johnson or we're using Martin Craney. It's just who he comes into the squad for, really. We've taken out Dan Gardner. I think next will be Will Keane. I don't see how he's getting in the squad at all. If we put them in order of star rating, which they already are, the worst ones are Will Keane, Martin Craney now, who's dropping off, and Owen Evans, who's the backup keeper. So it's going to have to be Will Keane, I think. He's a good player. He hasn't got anything technically. He's 6'2". He could be our target man, in fairness. Or do I take out Craney? I don't know. My Luton head's telling me not to do it. And he's got 16 under-21 caps. I mean, he's a massive player. I'm going to take Will Keane out. I know he's going to be unhappy about it, but so what? Will Joe Garn welcome Abate? No. Massive name. Neil Critchley's envious. Well, I've built the squad, so, you know. We'll keep a diplomatic response for now, but there we go. Thank you for everyone who's still involved as well. It's great to be in double figures throughout the morning. One more bonus game away at Blackpool, and I'm hoping after 3 games unbeaten, I'm not going to finish on a low now. So let's attend the press conference for Abate. Massive experience. I wonder if that will come up. Good opportunity to sign him. Susceptible to injury? No worries. I hope he can make a contribution. It should be exciting for the squad. And of course he can contribute. Why would I sign him otherwise? Vast experience. I wonder what his personality is actually. I didn't look at that. What is Abate's personality? Resolute. So he might be a good candidate for this mentoring group. Let's see what it comes up with. Average influence. Let's do it. If we can get the influence on the likes of Pearce and Lang and Evans. Are there any other young players who could go in there? Just trying to see if there's any others who need a bit of support. Matty Palmer's 25. I didn't realise he was that old. Otterbour's 24. I don't know if he's going to be too influential in the squad though. Cal Naismith's 28 now. Curtis Tilt, 29. So let's try and get Otterbour in. No, he's too influential, so we won't be able to get him anything. But let's get into the last game of the day. We're going to make a few changes. I want to put Abate on the bench. It says he's not available there. Did I not make him available for the squad when I took out Will Keane? I can't remember if I did. I took Will Keane out. Where is he? Oh, I didn't put him in. That's why. What a silly boy. We're getting up to that wage bill as well. The salary cap. So we're going to have to sell a few soon. So what we'll do with Abate is we'll put him on the bench because he's not match fit. We'll put him in for Gary Roberts. At right back, I'm tempted to bring Johnson back in. Though Craney did alright. So maybe I should give him another game. I'm just worried because it's on the road. Blackpool have got some fairly quick players. On the left-hand side, they've got CJ Hamilton, who's electric, and Dimitri Mitchell, who's electric. So I think that's answered my question. As much as I like Craney, Darnell Johnson's my man today. Jack Clark can come and get involved again. He's going to be in for... It just means if I put him in, I've got to take Tunnicliffe out of the squad. And he's match fit and has played better and contributed more. And we've still got Dyer and Otterbour. So I think Jack Clark has to stay out today. And in January, with the likes of Tunnicliffe and Johnson, and even perhaps Tilt and Palmer, we've got to look at can we get one or two of them in permanently. But aside from that, I'm going to stick the same. I might bring Otterbour in. And I think I'd probably do it for Lang. But then on that left-hand side, pace isn't going to work, is it? And he hasn't got the other attributes. So I'm going to stick the same. That's going to be our lineup. Palmer and Shot are not quite fit, but they're staying in for this one. And with Ignacio Abate taking number 31, we head in to the final game of the morning. Tom, check Zlatan. Sorry, yes I will. Ryan shot his top assist after only 7 games. Wow. All of the teams really in League 2, day in game, it's 5 at the back. Well, it's become the most popular formation in real life. I'd say it's gone down the lower leagues a bit quicker in FM than you'd expect, but you can't argue with it. I guess it's something that happens quite frequently. So let's just go back so we can have a look at Zlatan. He's an absolute monster in terms of stats as well at 39. I mean, look at that. He's an elite striker. Let's look at his languages. He is fluent in Swedish, English, Italian. He is good in Croatian, Dutch, Spanish and Bosnian, and basic in French, Norwegian and Danish. So in terms of broken language, he can speak 10 of them. That's pretty remarkable. I'm trying to remember who it was with 6 languages. It was like a well-educated player in Britain, but I can't remember. As Ballard picks it up on the edge, to Gretterson, to Howe is a good start from Blackpool. We might have to drop to balanced here just because of that threat they've got in behind. Woodburn picks it up. He's on loan from Liverpool, of course. Up to Husband on the left wing. Chance to cross in, and there it is for Sarkic. Josh Vickers has made an absolute meal of it. And within 3 minutes we're behind, and I'm already getting the bonus game. Because it was our real opportunity to be able to stay in good form. Yeah, wow indeed for Zlatan's languages. Lee Evans heads away the corner, and we're in a spot of bother here. This Blackpool side, they're among the relegation favourites. I'm not sure why, with the pace they've got with Ben Woodburn in the side. And actually on that left, they haven't played the pace in the end, have they? They've moved one to the right and dropped the other. Husband again in that crossing position to Woodburn, to Virtue. Back to Gretterson, and it's blocked away, but we cannot get out. We cannot create anything. This is going to be a disastrous end to the game, isn't it? What a time to do it in the morning. Kai on the right. Chance to put it in. Palmieri wins it. Still out to Howe, the right wing back. Into Kemp. And his volley's just over the bar. Let's get that early crosses off because it's very clear which side are going to dominate out wide. And in fact, we might even change our instructions. Let's play through the middle a bit more. Try and take advantage. 10 minutes on the clock though. Not looking good so far, though we have got a throw in. What on earth was that? Firstly, Johnson took it. He did a long throw and just put it straight into the keeper's arms. Shotton's on the pitch. And Kai's got it on the right again, and Blackpool are surging forward. It's a very frustrating way to go, as Howe picks it up on the right, into the front post. And it's away as far as Kemp to Howe. It is basically an onslaught at this point. This is what we did to Ipswich on the first day of the season. Ballard over the top, headed away as far as Shotton. To Woodburn, in again, it's going to be 2. It's a great save by Vickers. Did well to get that round the post, to be fair. Yeah, they do all play 5 at the back pretty much. Is that over? Oh, it's just over the bar. It's something we've not noticed as much in Scotland, actually. There's been more back 4s there. In Wales, I'd say most managers are trying to match us up. So we play with the narrow diamond, and a lot have been doing the same against us. Kai heads over. Why are we so poor today? We're going to berate them. It's 23 minutes, and we have looked atrocious. If it wasn't for Curtis Tilt winning some headers, I don't know what we'd do. They're unhappy with us because we're slating them, but you can't produce performances like that and expect more. I am probably regretting not bringing Tunnicliffe back in for that bite in midfield, but we've been absolutely outplayed. It's really poor. And I'm going to make a change at half-time just to get my point across. I'm going to throw the water bottle for the first time, although they're telling me there's nothing to lose. So are we expected to lose? And they're demotivated. I mean, we can't get it right. What is worrying me is we're losing the dressing room early, despite doing quite well. So on is going to come. Ryan Tunnicliffe for Palmer, just as a ball winner, a box-to-box player. He's going to actually be a ball winner, try and get involved. Caelan Hines, I'm tempted to take off. He's not had the best game. And do I bring Otterbohr on? Let's do it. Let's get a bit of pace on the pitch. Try and push their left back a bit, if any bit. And 2 subs at half-time will certainly make an impression, won't it? Thank you for everyone who's still here as well. We've been in double figures the whole time. Sarkic in behind, hits the post. And Johnson clears away. This could be, honestly, 6 or 7 if they'd wanted it to be. Lee Evans has picked up a knock now. So we're going to have to take him off as well by the looks of it. Nearly an hour on the clock. This has turned into a disaster. Do you know what? I'm going to leave Evans on because we've only got 2 cup ties. It will just stop him going away with the internationals. Callum Lang will be replaced by Nathan Dyer. I don't know which one's better as the inside forward. Nathan Dyer's a good finisher. Is he natural out there? I don't know if he's natural on the left wing. Let's go and have a look at him. Going a long and convoluted way about it. But Nathan Dyer, he is natural on the left. So I'm going to play Nathan Dyer off the left wing and keep Otterbourne off the right. Just see if we can create something out of this. We'll go positive if we don't see something in a minute. Ryan Shotton's knackered. We're not seeing much of the long throw. We're not seeing much of us in the opposition half, to be honest. So let's demand more. I don't think we can do anything there, but we're going to go positive. I'll tell you what, actually. We'll run at the defence more. But we've got a corner to defend yet again. In from Blackpool. Shotton heads away. It's just inconsistency that's the problem. And that's going to be 2, is it? Just over the bar from Virtue. We've survived it. And I'm not quite sure how Blackpool aren't out of sight. We've not had a shot on target in 70 minutes. So let's go attacking. I don't think there's much more we can do. We're going to run at the defence more. Be more expressive. Try and up the tempo a little bit. Try and get wider now. I don't see a light at the end of the tunnel. We can push up because we've not got Craney in the back 4. And we're going to prevent a short goalkeeper distribution. We have to find a way into this. But I've got a sneaky feeling it might be 2-0 in a minute. Presume, welcome along. Just won the FA Cup with Millwall in the 3rd season. Incredible work. Fair play to you. A Sarkic shot brilliantly saved by Vickers again. Keeping us in the game here. We're not having quite the same success with Wigan. I think it was you who asked yesterday or Friday if this was too easy, FM21. I think I'm proving otherwise here with Wigan. As Otterbourne picks it up. Here's the pace. He skins them. He gets to the byline. A chance to put it in. Falls for Joe Garner. There you go. We're going to keep the attacking changes on. With Otterbourne doing that and Nathan Dyer on the other side, we can go and win this game. Joe Garner scored, so that will give him a bit of confidence. And now we're really going to go for it. It was our first shot on target. Blackpool will be livid. They should have been 3 or 4 ahead. But Josh Vickers has saved the day. And Kemp's up on the left-hand side through to Woodburn. The defence has completely parted. Into Labala. I think he was offside. Oh, nothing's given. Sarkic scores again. This is the 3rd time in 9 games that we've conceded immediately after scoring with Wigan. It's becoming so frustrating. I don't know why we're so susceptible. The long throw's not had an impact at all. And I've never seen a proper long throw in football that's not had an impact. But it's not to be. We've lost and we're regretting that extra game now because it has put us in this position where we're now in poor form. So as we said, we're going to go and play Havant and Waterlooville and Tranmere off camera. And we will be back after our day off on Tuesday at 5:30 for our daily weekday streams. So Tuesday to Friday 5:30 and the first game will be AFC Wimbledon. We finished in 11th place. We're only 4 points off the playoff, 7 off the top. And we've got a game in hand on half of them. But saying that, we're only 7 off the relegation zone. So it's a mixed bag for us at the start. But thank you so much for all of you coming along this morning. 13 watching still to the end. 13 likes as well. If you haven't yet, please chuck a thumbs up on it. If you're new to the channel, thank you for coming along. Thanks for all the regulars. L Gaming, appreciate the kind words. And I'll see you after the day off tomorrow at 5:30 on Tuesday. But don't forget, videos every day at 3:30. The head coach back later today. And there'll still be one from Bangor City tomorrow. So thank you for your support as always, and I'll see you on Tuesday.